Hey everyone, welcome to Historical Selfie. Today I'm in Patterson, New York, and I'm going to check out Laurel Ledges. This is where some of the earliest inhabitants of the Patterson area in the Hudson Valley once lived.
In this hike, I'm in search of the Muddy Brook Rock Shelter, a prehistoric shelter used by Indigenous people approximately 8,000 years ago.
So at this early point in the trail, I'm going to deviate off the yellow path and try to make my way up to get a close look at the ledge rock shelter about 100 feet up. According to an archaeological study done in 1975, this rock shelter is known as Muddy Brook, and this is where some tools, pottery, and some projectiles. From these artifacts, archaeologists can determine the culture or way of life of these archaic people who lived in this area about 8,000 years ago. This rock shelter faces west, and then you have the slope downhill here, so this would have offered protection in the winter months from the northwest winds. The archaic people who lived in the Hudson Valley were hunter and gatherers, and they would have been moving from place to place following food sources. In the spring, they would have traveled to the Long Island Sound area for fish. The fall and winter months, they could have stayed here in small tribal bands where they would have had some shelter from the inclement weather, and they also would have had access to some food sources as well. The rock shelter here is near the Great Swamp, so in the fall and winter months, the Great Swamp would have provided fish and waterfowl as well for the hunter and gatherers. So it's amazing to stand here thousands of years later, knowing that some early humans once called this home. These early inhabitants of the Hudson Valley followed yearly travel patterns and were able to meet their basic needs while not altering the environment. I'm only a few hundred yards from civilization with cars zooming by, and it's amazing to think that so close to us we get a glimpse of the distant past. Although the archaic people lived thousands of years ago, in terms of their looks and their brain capacity, they're exactly the same as ours. So if you put a baseball cap and hoodie on some of these archaic people, they would blend right in. So by visiting the Laurel Ledges here in Patterson, we can get a glimpse of the past in order to prepare for the future. By studying how these hunter-gatherers met their basic needs, we can learn from these individuals and maybe take something that has been forgotten and try to bring it into our world today. While you're up here on the ledge, look around and perhaps you can find something that maybe was undiscovered and that could offer more clues about what was life like 8,000 years ago in this area. So after examining the rock shelter, I have a better perspective of what it looks like, and I'm glad I checked it out. And now I'm going to descend back onto the trail and continue on the path of Laurel Ledges. All right, so I safely made it back to the yellow trail on my descent from the ledge up top, and I'm glad I checked it out. Again, if you're going to do this, just watch your footing and be safe. So about 20,000 years ago, where I'm standing would be covered about 1 mile of ice, and around 12,000 years ago is when the ice started to melt and the glaciers started to retreat, and when we get the Hudson Valley begin to emerge. Behind me is this rock shelter that perhaps could be considered one of the earliest human shelters in the Hudson Valley, some 8,000 years ago. This seems like a good collection place for leaves, so I'm in about 3 feet of leaves right now. So if you enjoy leaf piles, come on down here in December and jump around. Easy to see how this ledge here provides a lot of shelter and would be an excellent campground spot for our early ancestors. So here's a great place to get your historical selfie. All right, some bad news. It appears the Yellow Trail has become submerged in Turtle Pond there. So if you come back in the summertime, you can make your way around the ledge and continue on. All right, so I took an unmarked trail that got me up to this viewing point here. So behind me is Turtle Pond in Patterson. So it's a nice little overlook that shows the beauty of this eastern part of Putnam County. Turtle Pond will eventually flow into the east branch of the Croton Reservoir, which provides drinking water for New York City. This hike leaves me with more questions than answers, but that's part of being a lifelong learner, and we're going to keep exploring our area and keep asking questions.
I would like to thank Judy Kelly Moberg for providing the geological and archaeological information about the Muddy Brook Rock Shelter.
So this is my last hike in the year 2022. So thanks for your support and for your likes and subscribing. And here's to 2023 when we continue to live history. Peace.